Now, there we go. All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Slam versus Liereyy, game number 1 in the third set today for the All-Star League Week 2. I'm excited for this set of games, and we're going to be here on Serengeti for our first map. Joining me for this one, we're going to have Major Queros, and I believe this is the first time we've actually cast anything together.
Yes, I think we did. We did play, of course, in the free-for-all, but that's about it.
Sure, but I mean that was playing and not casting, so
Yes.
it's a different
Yes.
ball game now. This is exciting.
Yeah, it is.
So down to the south of the map in the blue, we have Slam, and he's got the Teutons. It's going to be mirror civs, so if everything's all right, we should see Liereyy in the north of the map. He's in the red as the Teutons as well. And maybe you could talk us through the map a little bit here and what we're seeing for both players.
So Serengeti, known for a very, or at least in my opinion, very awkward map to play because of the wood lines. They don't really close, so it's quite hard to wall as well. And you will have to move your lumber camp quite a lot around. So yeah, that's always tough to play, but also fun to watch because open maps also mean a lot of action, hopefully. And with the Teutons, that should be no problem. Other than that, I quite like Slam's map. He has a pretty nice wood line in the back and also 2 gold in the back. So that's already a pretty good start for him.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say about this wood line is it's kind of partially blocked by the berries. And, it's going to be awkward to mill that like on the berries there. It's kind of blocked in a little bit, but it's not so bad, I guess. I mean, he's got to be a little careful if he sends a villager to the... Oh, no, he can actually walk between the house and the lumber camp. Okay, that's not so bad then. I thought the lumber camp and the house were touching, and then villagers would end up walking all the way around, and it would get really messy, but it's not so bad at all. But yeah, what you say about the lumber lines is absolutely correct, of course. They're very gappy. It's very hard to close, and with Slam being in a bit of a crater as well, and with both of his stones being at the front, we might see Slam wanting to be a little more aggressive here so that he doesn't lose access to the stone and isn't fighting uphill. If we look over to Lierey's side, his map's looking a lot flatter, which is something that's certainly going to be good for him, but his stone is also on the front. And the reason I point out the stone is because they are the Teutons, and this is a map where typically we do see a lot of towers.
Yeah, it's very nice to get some towers here and there and go all around the map. Especially with the wood lines, if you only get one good tower, then a wood line might be already denied. So yeah, that's actually a pretty good strategy on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously the Teutons having the capacity of 10 in their towers, the fact that they get murder holes for free, makes them a strong tower rush civ as it is. And because this map is so hard to wall, that is the reason why you see players making so many towers, because it's easier to put up towers than it is to try and plug all these holes and actually wall yourself off completely. The resources on this map are also a little bit unusual as well. We do have 1 elephant instead of a boar, and the elephant has 400 food instead of 360. And also, we have both zebra and ostrich, so it's like a double deer patch as well, which actually means there is quite a lot of food available on this map, although at first glance it's kind of like you got to play a little mini game to get it to your TC.
Yeah, also the tricky part about all the food hanging around, at least in the experience that I played this map, was that it might be a little bit hard once you go up to Castle Age to get your food in, so you shouldn't forget that once the food is gone, then your food production is also gone. And that's at least where I sometimes mess up. But yeah, starting food is quite nice on this map, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder if maybe, it's worth going for something like a militia rush or like a man-at-arms kind of play, for example, so that you can actually get aggressive nice and early and then have some kind of units there to support any forward villagers that you might want to send in case of doing a tower rush. In this case, we've actually got Slam walling up across the front and getting that sort of closed off quite early on, whereas Lierey's not even considered building a single wall yet, as he does loom right now, and we'll be looking to get to the feudal age at a very fast time, actually, in comparison to Slam, I think.
Yeah, what's also quite nice on this map and also with Teutons is a scout rush, since it's pretty hard to wall off. So even quick walls are pretty tough to get. So that might also be a nice strategy to pull off. Besides, you do have quite a lot of food. You can get up quite fast, so getting scouts out shouldn't be a problem at all.
Yeah, absolutely could be scouts on the cards as well, actually. I did see Slam, I thought he was moving 3 villagers out to take gold here, but he's actually just building another lumber camp here with the baobab trees. And an important note, actually, as well, is that the acacia trees have 150 wood, which is 50 more than a standard tree. And the baobab trees have 200 wood as well. So although the wood does look very sparse, there is actually a lot of additional wood in these forests because they do have the extra wood inside of the trees rather than, it's not just about how many trees there are as it normally would be. Interestingly as well, I've noticed Slam has a goat here. It looks like it's trapped, but I don't understand how or why. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was looking at it as well, but yeah, it might be trapped.
It looks trapped. I mean, is it trapped? Oh, yeah, it is trapped. It's trapped between these two
is.
trees. Yeah, okay. It's just, because it's on a hill. It looks like it should be able to get out, but it's not the end of the world. It's 100 food, and he's still got 2 ostrich and a zebra at the back, so no shortage of food for him there. Lierey's first to feudal, and you're totally right about those scouts. There is a stable coming up, and neither player getting aggressive with towers or anything like that. It seems like they're both going to do a very similar strategy here.
Yeah, also the cheaper farm cost. Not that it matters right now, but there's still enough food on the map. But later on, that can help them as well to get a lot of farms out where needed.
Yeah, no, I kind of at the moment I'm liking Lierey's base a little bit more. He's kind of walled it off the right side, and also another thing to note as well is you see where Lierey's walled that. Light sand, you actually can't build on that. So there's kind of patches of the map which you cannot actually build on at all, which also makes another challenge for walling, I suppose. But Liereyy being a little faster to feudal here, and going to be getting the first scouts out that much faster as well. The only thing about a scout rush, though, is it's just so easy to defend. It just takes a couple of spears positioned in the wood line, and it's no problem. You can very easily push the scouts away.
No, that is true, but still, even with spears defending it, you can just try to outrun them. And if you already force spears out, then you already did a little bit of eco damage. So Scout Rush is more about getting really small values out of your opponent rather than going really aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously they're not going to, typically not going to overcommit to scout production too much. We've got both players actually doing their best to wall up now, as we see Slam doing a pretty big wall down towards the right of his base, down to the south. And we got the first scout sort of pottering around on the left side of Slam's base, trying to actually stop this from being closed up, because this is actually the only gap in Slam's wall right now. But, Lierey's going to send one scout in alone, and he's going to get kind of trapped in there, potentially. Oh, no, he can't close the wall off. But that's enough to send Liereyy away with some free damage on a scout. Slam's going to take that and be pretty happy with the outcome already, as he gets one scout for free.
Indeed. Yeah, that was a little bit too cheeky of Liereyy to go in there with the scout. Maybe it was a pathing issue, but yeah, he had it standing there already.
Yeah, he could have waited for the other scouts to come in from the back. It would have been a nice place for Liereyy to fight, potentially, because he had that hill in his favor. So if he's pushing in on the hill here, he should be able to take a good fight if he can force one out of Slam. Interestingly, Slam's actually made a 5th scout now as well, and he's grouping them up, sending them forward, seeing what he can find. And look at how many farms are already up for both players. Really able to farm very, very quickly with the cheaper farms and start building up that food eco. And I guess the question is, will they commit more to scouts? Will we see a bigger commitment, or will we see them transitioning as we get a fight on the front now? Slam getting another scout in here, and he actually takes down 2, not losing a single scout so far. Really, really good play from Slam with his micro here, taking great fight after fight, it seems.
Yeah, that was a really nice one. It's but also a lot of low HP scouts for Slam, so he's got to be careful now with taking other engagements. Yeah,
I think he actually managed to get something out of that little hillock there, so he must have had the attack advantage. But Slam's still adding in scouts here, actually. He's up to 7 scouts now. We have 5 4 scouts even. No, even less. Sorry, no, it is 4 scouts for Liereyy.
Yeah,
I was looking
4.
back at home because I was seeing that he's actually made 4 spearmen. So Lierey's really, I guess, worried about the scouts from Slam coming in. And those spears are now sort of positioned on his gold and his wood, whilst Lierey's looking for some kind of way into Slam's base, but Slam's got it walled up and he's on the counter attack.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised that Slam managed to get it all to get all the walls up. And now looking at it, it's not even that bad, except for his right side. That's a lot of walls. But yeah, now Slam with the scouts trying to poke in Lierey's base, but yeah, the spears just are too strong for now. If you have bloodlines and +1, you can try to snipe a spear, but yeah, no upgrades.
Yeah, with
Slam.
with a little bit of micro. With those upgrades, you can very easily take out 1 or 2 spears if you can like isolate them and surround them. But right now, I mean, I think both players completing wheelbarrow. Liereyy is a little later on the wheelbarrow tech, and we can see that Slam has a lot more resources banked up at the moment compared to Liereyy. He's got about 100 additional food, 100 additional wood, 100 additional gold, and we should see Slam hitting the Castle Age upgrade a little bit faster as he builds his second stable back at home and continues to roam around with his scouts and take more favorable engagements time after time here.
Yeah, it seems like he can get a very nice engagement right now. Another scout down for Liereyy. Yeah, that's pretty good. And indeed, Slam up to castle first.
Yeah, it's already clicked up, and obviously here, adding the second stable, we're going to see him transition into Knights in the Castle Age, and I think this is a good map for it, because, like as we said, just how open it is. Slam's map's looking a lot more secure. I know he's done this huge wall off, and it's a little impractical, but it's at least giving him the peace of mind that Lierey's not just going to rock up and, you know, be in his woodline at the back of the map here. So I think Slam's base looking a lot more secure. Liereyy is kind of very open on this left-hand side, and he's got a couple of spearmen there now, but once you've got knights coming in, well, they're really not going to hold their own, especially without any upgrades on them. So the spear's going to be okay for dealing with scouts, but as soon as those knights come through, it's going to be a different story.
Yeah, I do wonder how Liereyy is gonna deal with this. Is he going to try to be aggressive? But again, he is up later, so he will have to defend for the first few bits. Or is he gonna wall up, or is he gonna get town centers to defend? Because now, indeed, like you said, he's completely open. Spears won't do much. So he will need something to defend himself with.
Yeah, you're right. And he's got 6 spears out right now, which obviously, as we say, more than enough to push these scouts back. Maybe even a little bit too heavy on the spears, a little bit too precautious. But yeah, I mean, I'm wondering where's Liereyy going to put his TCs in this one. You know, his gold on the right isn't very, good location for it. The gold on the left's already kind of surrounded by stuff. I think he's going to want to put a TC on a wood line if he's going to put it anywhere initially, since the wood's probably the most exposed part of his eco right now.
Yeah, but that is the problem for him. He could maybe go forward and get a town center on the stone and the wood. Or indeed, I think still it's town center on the left on his gold is a good possibility.
Yeah, on the flat ground, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that could be okay. He put farms around on the left side as well. But there we saw Slam actually taking down a spearman with his scouts, and he's got bloodlines now. He's got +1 defense, so he's actually going to drop the TC down on the gold on the left side. And that's actually a good place as well, because as we said, his left side is the most exposed, so that TC is going to help with securing that as well. But we've got Slam adding his second TC on the gold, and third TC as well coming up for Slam on the left side. At the same time, double stable production for Slam on the knights, and he's going to get them across the map, I think, pretty quickly here.
Yeah, but now I think it's a little bit early to get 3 town centers. On the one hand, it does give you a pretty nice protection for your villages, which is important. But yeah, on the other hand, he might be struggling just a little bit by getting his knights out and getting additional upgrades on his knights.
Yeah, sure. I mean, right now, Liereyy is able to defend from the initial knights from Slam. And although Slam was a little faster to the Castle Age, Liereyy, with that defender's advantage, does get his second round of knights out in time. Slam there, I think he killed 1 villager. I think he might have delayed the second TC a little bit. And meanwhile, Lierey's third TC is up on the right side as well. And I'm not so sure about that one, actually. It's not a lot of wood left there. So I'm not entirely sure about that TC. I think Slam's TC is looking a little better, to be honest.
Yeah, true. Although it is still quite a risk, I think, to move out with his villagers to the place. I was thinking you might have put it. If you have knights roaming around, then it might be difficult to get a town center up. So I guess he just didn't want to take that risk.
Definitely a risk versus reward kind of thing. And yeah, you're right. I mean, the other options would be to build it forward, and that is a risk, absolutely. Slam here with the monastery on the left side can go out and heal his heal his knights a little bit, and also with that monastery, perhaps an indication that he may play a little more defensively for a while he booms his eco up. But I don't know. I mean, he's currently, let's just look at the army count, a little bit ahead, I think, in knights, but they both have similar level of army at this stage.
Yeah, definitely. He is still keeping up quite nicely, and I'm quite surprised that he hasn't really idled his stables as much as I thought he would. But in return, he is idling his town centers a little bit. So it's quite tough to keep all the production up, but I do like the addition of the monks. That definitely helps a lot to keep your knights alive.
Yeah, it's pretty common as well with like Teutons and Franks. You see the monks coming out more often than not once the knight numbers start getting up a little bit. But yeah, Slab kind of just sitting back for now, waiting for Liereyy to come to him. He will get quite a bit of chip damage onto these knights as they run away. And Liereyy knows, okay, well, Slam's not let up production on his knights here, knowing full well that Slam is going to chase him away now with these knights being so outnumbered. But yeah, I mean, neither player really making a big attack just yet. I mean, both players have actually made the monks as well. Both players willing to sit behind their kind of, well, I want to say walls, but kind of sit defensively, I suppose, and defend with the monks for the time being. Interestingly, Liereyy is actually adding a second barracks now, and I wonder if we're going to see some spears coming out for him, or some more spears.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. He already has some monks out, so the knights from Slam can't really do much, even though Slam is taking his monk forward, so he's really trying to go aggressive now. But then again, with the monks from Liereyy, the knights, it's just a risk to go in. You don't know what the conversions are going to do.
Yeah, I mean, potential to completely turn the fight around. But this is kind of unfortunate for Liereyy, I guess, because he's left his base just as Slam's looping around on the left side. Slam doesn't have +2 defense yet, but there's no fletching on these TCs for Liereyy. So Lierey's going to take quite a lot of damage here, actually. Even though he's fighting with Spearmen, they're unupgraded, the Pikeman upgrade isn't there yet, and Slam's going to just clean that up very easily. Now disrupting the gold, and okay, Liereyy does have 3 monks at the back, but again, being pretty unlucky with the conversions. Obviously, the Teutons have that conversion resistance, and those monks were only able to convert 2 instead of 3, and he did lose 2 monks as well. Slam here doing a good job. What's going on the other side, though?
Yeah, knights from Liereyy running in as well, but not nearly doing as much damage as Slam just did at Lierey's base. Slam absolutely did a very good job, and there you go.
Yeah, and in the end, the army count, look, 16 for Slam, 15 for Liereyy, but it's not necessarily about what you've got, it's about how you use it and when you strike, and the timing there for Slam was just right. You know, Liereyy had just left his base, and Slam loops around on this exposed left side. He comes in just before Liereyy is able to complete Pikeman, cleans it up, and then Lierey's just lost a bunch of villas right there. I think he's 5 villages behind at this point, and that was just going to go up and up and up as Slam was forcing his eco to go idle and killing more villagers with his knights in here. So it was a pretty quick game, actually, and I thought that it was actually relatively close up until that little engagement right there.
Yeah, indeed. I was looking at the villager count and army count, and initially Liereyy was ahead just a little bit, but Slam was catching up already in villager count. And the fact that he had Pikeman a little bit too late, that really turned that fight in the favor of Slam.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they were actually really close, like, for most of that game in the villages and in the military. I just think that Liereyy perhaps not quite as efficient as Slam as well. He did make quite a lot of spears, and I felt that might have been a little bit unnecessary, actually. If he'd have... I mean, Slam didn't make... I think he made, 2 spears, maybe even less. I think he might have only made 1 that game. and he was able to defend just fine. And considering they were like, neck and neck in terms of villager count, you'd think that Liereyy would also be able to defend without the spears. But maybe the fact that he was so open on the left side also was the reason why he decided to add those spearmen. And whereas Slam was a lot more walled up and a lot more able to close his map. Let's take a quick look at the achievements. We have 34 units killed for Slam, 14 lost for him. So really good KD for a short game. And the resources collected as well. We have Slam with just a little bit more of the food, a little bit more of the wood. But really it was very close in terms of resources collected. I feel like that was a close game still.
Yeah, it really was. Nice game.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't get a little bit more out of it, but Lierey's like, yeah, it's done. So we're going to get our second game going very short. And for those on the stream, here we go, guys. Welcome back to our second game in the Slam versus Liereyy series. 3-game series here. We've got Lierey's home map now because he did lose game number 1 on Serengeti. It's going to be 1-0 to Slam going into this. And we've got Arabia right here. Joining me once again, Major Queros, and I'll let you introduce the players and the civs.
Okay, so in the blue here on the left side of the map, we got Liereyy playing with the Indians. And then over to the right side of the map, we got, in the red, Slam, also playing as the Indians.
Yeah, I find that quite amusing because I got the impression that after maybe 1 or 2 rounds, we're just going to start seeing Indian mirrors because of how popular they are at the moment as a pick and how high their win rate has been, not just in this tournament, but in previous events as well. I actually do feel like eventually we might get past that, though. I mean, Tato earlier on today did demonstrate that the Celts are able to beat the Indians quite convincingly in the right hands. So we've got an Indian war, and I think this is the first Indian war of the tournament. So now it's going to come down to like mechanics. Who's the mechanically better player? Who can micro better? Who can macro under pressure better? Who can play the better game? Since there's no difference in civilization bonuses to contend with.
Yeah, that is what I personally like about the mirror matchups, that there is no civ advantage. But what you said earlier, that Indians, yeah, they are just really strong. I already, like I said earlier, they can do pretty much any strat, as far as I know, in Dark Age and Feudal Age. And even in team games, yeah, they do very well as well. So yeah, we'll have to see who's the better mechanical player here.
Yeah, I think the only real downside to the Indians is that they don't have knights. So, in the Castle Age, their hand is kind of forced a little bit more towards crossbows or like a defensive style play. And I think that's something that a lot of the players have done with the Indians. They've defended, and countered, and then they've got to the later stages of the game and transitioned into a very powerful army composition, whatever that may be, which is suitable to the match they're playing. But in this case, I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, my guess is that we'll probably see scouts into archers, and we're going to see, I think we'll see a kind of more typical kind of meta game in this one, since they're not, it's not an asymmetrical civ matchup, and I don't think the Indians will feel that pressure to counter so hard and try and make it to the late game so hard. I think they'll try and match each other more, and I think that's a good thing because I like to see a crossbow micro. It's my favorite things in the game.
Yeah, I think I've seen quite a lot of Slam games, and what he likes to do a lot is go man-at-arms into archers or man-at-arms into towers, and well, pretty much any civ can do that, so maybe Indians can pull that off quite nicely as well. Yeah, scouts is also a possibility, but it might depend a little bit on the map of the players, what they gonna pick.
Yeah, so speaking of the map, I mean, the first thing that's kind of jumping out to me is the gold positions for both players. It's all on the front. There's like no gold in the back for either of them. No safe gold at all. Lierey's actually walled out a gold on the south, and then the other golds are towards the front of his base, and the same is for Slam here as well. So that could invite some aggression from either player. Just looking at Slam's base, this boar ran back, which is not ideal, but also not the end of the world, I guess. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on the maps at the moment?
I think it seems like Slam's map is a little bit easier to wall off. His left side and his front is quite easy to wall off. The only thing is really his right side. It's open, and there also are quite a lot of hills, so that might be a little bit nasty. So that I do think about Slam maps, but Lierey's map is even more open, I feel, especially the right and the front. And his gold is a little bit closer to the TC. It's also not quite as forward as Slam's map. So I feel like Slam should be the aggressor here.
Yeah, and I think as well, Lierey's woodlines are just further away in general. Other than this one that's to the south of his TC, which is actually in not a very good position because this hill on the right side could invite a lot of damage from Slam if he takes this hill and starts attacking the wood here. And then, his other woodlines are really far forward, so he's going to have to, I guess, close this out somehow. For the meantime, though, it's going to be pretty tough. Whereas Slam can wall between these two forward wood lines, and you can see he's actually already doing that with the villager out here, making sure that main gold is secured. And although it's quite far forward, by walling out here, he will secure that. And he's also walling up to the south as well. So
it's a pretty big wall.
Major walling from Slam here. Major walloss.
Yeah. It's for Liereyy, it's a bit harder. Although it seems like he's already trying there with the house and the barracks to get the wall off right there. And then if he gets a palisade from the stone to the wood, then at least that side of the map should be safe.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, it's just the problem with walling so far away from your base is that, in the mid game, when you've not upgraded to a stone wall or anything, or when it's just one layer of palisade, it's so weak and you can't send anything out to wall behind it in time. So it can become a risk. But obviously in the early game, very vital to at least close some portion of your map off so that you've not got open flanks on both sides. Liereyy dropping down the stable. Slam. No military production building so far because he's still in the Dark Age, right? He's up to the Feudal Age now. And is it going to be... What is it? It's stable on the north side. So it will be scouts from both by looks of it.
That's a shame. I always like seeing Slam going man-at-arms. But yeah, scouts is just really nice as well. And he was 20 villagers up. So that's not enough for man-at-arms either. But quite a fast scout rush still. Usually you will see players go 21, 22 if they want to get some more scouts out. But if they want to be really fast, then 20 is the way to go.
Yeah, it's definitely doable. And I think with the Indians as well, I mean, you're dealing with cheaper villagers from the start of the game. So you're saving a little bit of food there, and you start seeing players going up that much faster because of it. So right now, Liereyy is actually going to get walled into Slam's base here. Going to take a little bit of additional damage from the scout of Slam as he runs back. And for the time being, I mean, I think by the time Liereyy even gets his second and third scout over there, Slam's going to be completely walled in. And he's not done the most efficient wall. I mean, he could have walled up a little bit between these cliffs instead, but it's going to do the trick. And that's something we saw from Slam last game as well, and it worked out in his favor. So we'll see if Lierey's able to find any holes or anything here, but I think it's unlikely.
Yeah, indeed, for now completely walled off, and Slam getting his scouts out, trying to get a little bit of damage done already, trying to use the hill in his favor. But that one scout, that is going to go down. And that's already nice for Slam, so he's one scout ahead.
Yeah, he's deleting his wall now to let his own scout out as well, re-walling behind it. And as you say, it's 4 versus 3 scouts now. Lierey's kind of mirroring, though, and he is also building these walls up. And when you consider how many walls Slam's built, how big this wall off is, Liereyy is probably not even going to spend as much resources there. Oh, I'm laughing again because this is the second time in this tournament where I've seen Liereyy build like a completely worthless wall. He's actually walled the cliffs down in the south, and there's like nothing on the other side but more. I think he's realized that now, but that's quite funny to see. In the center of the map, Lierey's going to push it back. He's now got 1 scout advantage, and Slam's going to run away.
Yeah, so far Slam couldn't really do much yet. I actually wonder why he is chasing the scouts, as he Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, there you go. Slam getting out a spear now, so that's why I was running back.
Yeah.
You just wait for the spear. Yeah.
So both players. I mean, this is going to be one of those games where you've just got this like early game stalemate. Nobody's able to do any damage because the walls are just a hard counter to everything right now. But still, I mean, trying to get the scout advantage, trying to claim the map control and remove your opponent's scouts from the map is going to be nice because they can start doing some chip damage on the walls. They can start pressuring the walls and forcing their opponent to have to send villagers out to re-wall behind it. So it's certainly worth trying to still get the upper hand in these engagements right now. Slam coming in with this spear though, and that's just the big deal breaker here for Liereyy. He can't really take the fight he wants, but by kiting this army around, he can try to avoid the spear for now. This isn't actually too bad at all.
Yeah, he got sniped off one scout there, and it seems like another scout. Oh, Slam just saved it. And now, yeah, Liereyy has to run downhill, not wanting to fight uphill. But so far, Liereyy is doing quite good.
Yeah, I mean, considering there is a spearman like hot on their heels, he's taking the hills and then turning it around, getting some damage and then getting out before he loses anything. It's actually pretty good for him. But yeah, right now, both players adding in a lot of farms. We've got the blacksmith coming up for Slam, and we're going to see the castle age coming in for both players very soon here. Looks like, oh, okay, so Lierey's going to lose the scouts now as well in the south.
I traded them even, but there is still one low HP scout, or two even. Yeah, so he should be. He can't really do much with that anymore.
Yeah, it's gonna get cleaned up, and there's not enough. Well, I mean, Lierey's done enough damage to Slam scouts that they're not going to be a problem now either. Going into the castle age, they're not going to be attacking his walls and doing too much damage there. So it's okay for both players at this point, I would say. I mean, right now both players are on 33 villagers. Slam's clicked up to the castle age a little bit faster, and Liereyy is probably about to click up in just a moment here. Oh wait, is it? Hold on a second. It's the overlay is telling me the wrong thing. Liereyy is up to the castle age faster, and Slam is just clicking up right now. So actually, Lierey's... Are they switched on the score here? Is it back to front?
I'm not entirely sure what is going on.
Yeah, it's the names are switched.
Now.
The names are switched on the overlay. Maybe I need to like reset it. Maybe that'll fix it.
For me,
it's right now. It's right now. Good. It's still in development. But yeah, okay. So Lierey's going up with 33 vills, and Slam's going up with 34. But Liereyy is quite a way faster to the castle age here. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he should be ahead in that case. Also, Slam already adding a new stable, so he should go camels in that case, or maybe even light cav. But I think camels might be better. But then again, Liereyy is completely walled, so I do wonder what Slam's plan is at the moment with that second stable.
Yeah, sure. I mean, well, the palisades aren't going to put up too much of a defense against a few the camels, for example. But the problem is for Slam, I mean, he doesn't know what's going on behind the walls. He doesn't know if Lierey's built like something in the fog here. He doesn't really have much of an idea. He's kind of just shooting in the dark. The same as for Liereyy, though. I mean, Liereyy has no idea what's going on the other side of the map either. And both players are playing quite in the dark. And I think that's why Liereyy is going to play a little more defensive and build the monastery, probably anticipating some more cavalry coming his way. And meanwhile, we've got a camel coming out for Liereyy, I think. A couple of camels. And I think the same for Slam, too, once he gets to the castle age.
Yeah, now thinking about it, going crossbow with Indian mirror match, that is just not a possibility because of the higher pierce armor for the camels. So as long as you have then enough camels, then you should be able to even counter crossbows, or at least put decent fight against crossbows.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, I think yes and no, because the camels have less base pierce armor. So like a knight has 2 pierce armor without any upgrades, whereas a camel has none. I guess the Indian camels have 1 base, technically. But I still think crossbows are viable. I think it just depends on how the game builds up. And with enough numbers, we know that crossbows beat knights, and I think against camels, they would do better as well. But in the way this has gone with both players walling up, I think it's too risky to let your opponent get to the castle age, very quickly when in an Indian match, because now they're in the castle age. Villagers are costing 40 food. They can afford to build 3 TCs and make military at the same time, and that's kind of a scary thing to have to deal with if you're still in feudal.
Yeah, so basically booming and making military at the same time. But I do like Lierey's choice to get a monk out there that prevents Slam from really going in. I also wonder what that villager going forward there was trying to do.
I think I missed the village. Oh, the forward villager from Slam.
Yeah, he was building a house like in the middle of the map.
Well, you never know. I mean, he could drop a siege workshop down or something to try and pressure the walls, but I think coming up against enough resistance to not want to kind of throw that down there and take the risk. But we got monks for both players, actually, and I think we're going to see a very similar playstyle from both at this rate, as they're practically mirroring each other. However, I would say Liereyy is definitely getting ahead in villager count. He's 5 vills up already. In terms of upgrades, they are... Well, it's actually Slam going to take the upgrade advantage here. And also, if he gets a conversion, he might take the military army advantage as well. In fact, he will.
Yeah, he's that's really nice play there from the scouts that were still left. Then he can easily snipe the monk, and now he can start to push out again with the monks and with the camels.
Yeah, it was good from Slam. The problem is, this is the issue with camels, though. You can have these skirmishes in the middle of the map, but when it comes to sending your camels into your enemy's eco to go and do some damage, you're not really packing much of a punch. You're taking additional damage from the TCs, and they're not great at dealing damage to your opponent's eco. So they're kind of sitting in the middle of the map, taking these little skirmishes, and they're not really going to be able to do anything with it necessarily for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so now Liereyy defending with some more monks, and Slam trying to get a conversion as well, but so far no luck for him. Also, Slam not trying to snipe a monk, but is that going to work? No, 1 conversion for Liereyy, nice. But that is 2 monks down, so far pretty decent engagement for Slam.
Yeah, Slam's going to take all the monks out, and those scouts, talk about value, guys in the chat, talk about value. Those scouts getting all the monk kills, really, really good. Slam's going to go in, take a lot of damage from the TC, so immediately back out again. But definitely trading much more effectively as Slam here. 13 units killed, 8 lost, and Lierey's killed 6 and lost 16, and that's obviously a bit kooky because of the conversions being accounted for. But Slam right now almost, not almost, but getting ahead in military, and Lierey's still 1 villager ahead. So I guess Lierey's had less idle time at the TC. Slam's had less idle time at the TC. I think Liereyy did handcart, actually. I think I saw that coming in, which Slam didn't do.
Yeah. But so far, really, really nice for Slam. He has the extra monks out as well, so he can start healing his camels again, and then he is ready to go. Whereas, Liereyy just lost all his.
Yeah, sure, and we've got the forward siege workshop as well from Slam now.
There it is.
Although Lierey's already prepared with that. I mean, he's already got his own siege workshop up. But I always kind of feel a little bit like it's a difficult situation when you're playing so defensively like this. You're giving up all map control. You're walling yourself into a tiny corner of the map. And I can't count the times where I've seen this go wrong for the player in that position. Slam is actually up to the Imperial Age right now. And that's quite impressive when you consider how he's actually built more military this game as well.
Yeah, indeed. That is really, really the power of the Indians. And they're such a nice civilization to have in Imperial as well. Even better than in Castle Age. You can go hand cannoneer, bombard cannon, or just upgrade your camels. What can't you do? You can even go arbalest, although in this case, that's not going to happen. There are really a lot of possibilities.
It's kind of tough. I think, actually, Liereyy is adding an archery range right now, so we'll see what he does with that. I think the answer is really to go into hand cannons and get the late sort of chemistry tech stuff. But Liereyy is going to be a lot later clicking up to Imp here. I mean, there's a very big difference in it at this point. Slam's already at 50% while Lierey's only just clicked up. And again, as I said before, Slam has complete map control, so it's looking really good for him right now as he sends villagers forward. Is that a castle drop from Slam? Must be.
Let's see, where do you see that?
In the center of the map, Slam's sending a bunch of vills forward. He's got 700 stone, so it's surely going to be a castle drop for him. Lierey's not even gathered that much stone. He's got like 4 vills on stone here, so like Slam's macro has been so good this game, actually.
Yeah, I'm quite impressed as well, and the castle will really help him to get a nice spot to fall back on. And indeed, there it goes, quite forward actually. And yeah, with Slam up to Imperial first, he might consider getting traps out instead of Bombard Cannon, because Bombard Cannon will take quite a while. But there is Liereyy with the Mangonel. Can he get a good shot out of this? Nope. Still have to deal with the Mangonel himself.
Yeah, sorry, I think I'm a little bit ahead of you. I'm going to slow down slightly. I'm at 29.45 right now.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I think you've fallen behind a little bit. But yeah, the Imperial Age tech for Slam just coming in as that castle is being completed. And we'll see. I mean, Slam, I imagine he's going to get a Treb straight out. At the moment, though, we've got Iron Castellan coming in, and I'm going to see what other techs he's got going. He's not got a university, so we're not going to see chemistry coming in for a while, so it's got to be a Treb surely then in that case. With that castle there though, Liereyy is going to be feeling the heat. So he's got no map control at all. He's being penned in now to a small corner, and Slam's kind of got him in the palm of his hand, I feel.
Yeah, that's quite bad for him. He is getting the castle up himself, so that will that is quite decent, as he then doesn't have to wait for chemistry and so on if he wanted to, as that is quite slow. Now quite a big fight going on right there. Let's see. Some crossbows as well.
The crossbows coming in from Liereyy here, definitely helping out. That TC doing quite a bit of additional damage as well. Crossbows at the back actually sniping the monks. But I think Slam got quite a good number of conversions in there. And these camels, man, they are just so... Well, they're still alive. The castle wasn't completed in time to really do much damage, and Lierey's lost most of his army in that engagement as that castle now completes. But Slam already has the first trebuchet out, the second one is on the way, and Liereyy is now under so much pressure here. It's mounting as these camels just aren't dying.
No, they are really strong, and if you would get it up to Imperial Camel, although you don't see that often in Imperial Age or in 1v1, then they are just they kill all.
Yeah, they just everything. What can't they do?
Everything goes down. Yeah.
Liereyy is doing chemistry though, and you know, if he can get chemistry in, and if he can keep this castle alive and stall Slam and get enough time to build a bombard cannon, then he could deal with these trebs. And with a few hand cannons in the mix, he can deal quite well with the camels as well. Hand cannons hit hard, and I think that's exactly what he wants to do. Meanwhile, we have got a heavy camel coming in for Slam. We've got the plate barding armor now, so they've got 5 pierce armor and heavy camel about to complete. But Slam doesn't have that many camels out, really. These techs are very expensive. They're very slow. I mean, heavy camel takes years, and he's only got like 8 camels as well. So Lierey's actually able to defend for now with a few crossbows. It's enough to keep him away, and as long as he can keep this castle up until chemistry's done and he can get a bombard cannon, I feel like Liereyy does have a shot at defending this.
Yeah, definitely. For now, though, I think Slam is quite fine with the heavy camel, with the mangonel. You know, the crossbows won't really do that much. But once chemistry is being done, then that should be the other way around. Because, yeah, Slam doesn't really have a lot of army at all.
No, he's running in now with the camels. Oh, wait, no, he's going back. And meanwhile, the castle for Liereyy has gone down. And, I mean, that's the problem there. I mean, Slam just had the edge with the production. Meanwhile, Liereyy has completed Arbalest, and the chemistry tech is done. So the bombard cannon is coming out. And it looks like he's going to keep building the Arbalest here, actually. Meanwhile, doing Halbs as well.
I'm surprised by the Arbalest, again, with the extra pierce armor for the camels. Then, yeah, Arbalest, well, I don't know, but I think that would have been better spent in other units. You do get the archer upgrades for the hand cannoneers already, so that's something. But other than that, yeah, I think arbalest might have been a bit too much.
Yeah, maybe. I think the hand cannons might have been a better choice here. I just think a little more versatile. They hit a little harder. But right now we've got an elephant archer out for Slam. Obviously seeing that the arbalest are in here as he runs forward with the heavy camels now. I think he's trying to snipe the bombard cannons because they are able to deal with his trebs quite nicely. But yeah, there's just too many arbalest here for Slam to really be able to do, or to be able to snipe the bombards, that is, anyway. Meanwhile, the Trebs are going to pack up from Slam, and it looks like we're going to see more elephant archers coming out because they are just that good.
Yeah, it's quite funny to see. I don't see them a lot at all in 1v1s because they're so slow, quite expensive as well. Yeah, fun to see them here. I think you might use them to just get a little bit more tank on the front line.
Yeah, Liereyy throwing away. Yeah, throwing it away on the front. That was a little messy. But, I mean, look at the villager count right now. Liereyy is ahead in vills. He has been for a while. He's ahead in military as well. It's certainly not so bad for him. He just has to clean up this castle. And it's almost like Slam's giving him it to him. He's retreated his army right back. And he's just kind of giving him this castle here. Meanwhile, he's building 2 more castles behind it. Perhaps it's just a sacrificial lamb here from Slam. But it's, yeah, kind of strange you just give that away. I just don't think he feels comfortable to take an engagement. And he knows he probably needs to switch his army composition up a little bit in order to actually push in and fight Liereyy toe-to-toe right now.
Yeah, so he is actually going with more elephant archers from the castle. So is that going to be his army composition here? Just go camels and elephants.
It could be. I mean, it really could be.
Yeah.
Has he stopped production? I don't know, Slam. It's looking strange. He's doing fletching right now. He's doing more elephant archers. It's going to take a long time to get these guys upgraded, though. And look at his wood economy in the back. It's really inefficient. He's walking miles with the wood, and he needs a lot of wood eco to sustain this. So I don't think his eco is really set up for this, to be honest. But we'll see how it goes. As Liereyy is now pushing out, the castle's gone. Lierey's getting heavy camel. He's getting thumb ring. He's going to be getting more upgrades on his arbalest as well, and. Yeah, I think that actually Slam could have been better off investing into Imperial Camels here. His eco was going to be better set up for that, but he's going into this Elephant Archer switch.
Yeah, that's a little bit strange. I think even going with chemistry as well and switch to bombard cannons, heavy camels and halberdier. That's quite a decent combo. Yeah, this is just like you said. It is just so slow to get out and. Even with 2 castles, he only has 6-7 elephant archers out. Yeah, and he's not even elite.
Exactly, he's not got those techs yet. He's not got. He doesn't even have an archery range, so he can't do Parthian tactics. He's only got Bodkin arrow. He doesn't even have +2 defense yet. And oh wow, okay, Lierey's gonna throw a few vills away, but
yeah, just for nothing.
Yeah, why not? It's not like he's already at 125, so it's fine.
It's cheap Indian camel or villagers, no problem.
Easily replenished. But I think that if Liereyy switches into Imperial camels here, he's got a really good answer to the elephant archers actually, because as we know, they get the extra pierce armor, the extra health from the Imperial camel, and these elephant archers are really good anti-archer units, but they're cavalry at the end of the day. And the Indians are probably the best best anti-cavalry civilization in the game. Obviously, the dynamic changes a little bit when they fire back from range, but they're pretty short ranged, and I think they'll go down very quickly to camels from Liereyy here.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand the thought process of Slam, but I guess he is doing the elephant archers because they still are tanky, like really tanky versus arbalest, and even halberdier have quite a tough time getting them down because they just have so much HP. But for now, he's just giving Liereyy so much time to build up an army and even a counter army.
And that's exactly the thing, though, isn't it? I think you just absolutely hit the nail on the head. Like, he had Liereyy confined to a small corner of the map, and then he's kind of backed away and given him so much space to now actually break out. And actually, it's now Liereyy who's pushing Slam away. Slam's lost this second castle back here, and the third one's about to go down by the looks of things.
Well, good thing he did get chemistry, so Slam is now getting his bombard cannons out again, or he is getting them out now. Yeah, it's all quite slow.
Yeah, they're definitely a slow civ to get to that late game sort of death ball style army, but this is why we were saying before, you know, it's so common to see the Indians just defend, and then do what Lierey's doing, which is actually now push out in mass. Just had a bunch of vills die. I think Lierey's killing his own villagers now, maybe. I'm not sure. But
yeah, he is. Yeah.
Lierey's going down to the south to grab the extra gold down here. And this shouldn't be possible, you know? When Slam's got Liereyy backed into a small corner of the map, to now have Liereyy being able to go to the south of the map with a bunch of vills and grab the gold for free without map control for Slam, that's a little disappointing, to be honest. But still, has got a number of elephant archers out, and Imperial Camel is now coming in for Slam as well.
Yes, and that is a good thing if he can get that advantage over Liereyy for now. That tech advantage, he might be able to push out. Besides the Camel elephants, if done correctly, should be able to deal with Halberdier as well. So, but yeah, his army is still a little bit small. He needs some more mass, and he is very gold heavy intensive army as well. So if he runs out of gold, then he's got a problem. I don't think he teched into any trash at all yet.
Yeah, and the problem for Slam right now is actually scouting. He's getting hurt by this lack of scouting here. He's actually coming forward with his army, and I just want to just say that, you know, that there is a gold in the north which he hasn't seen, and he's looking for gold in the south now. But this is going to be a good fight right here.
No, he's waiting for Imperial Camels still. I mean, heavy camels take years, but Imperial Camels is even worse.
Imperial Camels take years, and Slam, he's falling back to his hill, but he took a lot of losses there. Imperial Camel's now done, but a lot of his camels are already dead from that premature engagement. His elephant archers aren't fully upgraded. They're getting cut down here, and actually this is going to be, I think, a decent fight for Liereyy, considering he doesn't have Imperial Camel on the field right now. Not too badly done at all. Of course, fighting uphill here is never ideal, but Liereyy, it looks like he's coming out on top, if you ask me.
Yeah, but this is... Yeah, he did take a good fight indeed, but now with Slam with the Imperial Camels, do you see any Halberdiers left? They did go down quite quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
So if Slam can manage to get more out, then he should be somewhat fine. But he's still getting elephant archers out. That's...
Wow.
I don't know about that.
Slam losing the hill. He's going to lose his treb as well. And yeah, Slam's now retreating back behind his castle with what little army he does have left. And yeah, Slam down to 12 military units, whilst Liereyy is at 52. It was a great fight for Liereyy. He was able to do that even without the Imperial Camel upgrade. And I think the Halbs did play a big part in that. But I think it was actually more the fact that he just had a really varied amount of units in that fight. You know, he had Halbs, he had Arbs, he had some Skirms, he had the Camels, he had the Bombard Cannon at the back. And it all just kind of came together to push Slam off of that hill. I mean, yeah, I think the Elephant Archer, it's a good idea, but without the elite upgrade, without Parthian tactics, they're just not as tanky as he needs them to be. And now Lierey's got a huge window in this game.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Slam did invest so much into the Elephant Archers, like all the archer upgrades, that he kind of has to make them now, I guess. And he doesn't really have the gold right now. If you look at the resources, only 160 gold banked up. Yeah. And he does have still 1 gold in the base, but that is going to be gone quite quickly as well.
Yeah, he's got the one in the sort of middle he's got, but he's not scouted the one at the north, and he's not scouted the one at the south either. He's building outposts so he can see the map. Now he's going to see it, but Lierey's already down there, and Lierey's already got, a good majority of, he's got over half of that gold already, and he's going to mine that up super quick. By the time Slam sends anything down there, Lierey's already gotten more than enough out of that gold mine. So Lierey's going to actually find the gold at the north as well, and that's pretty huge. Lierey's going to win this on map control, I feel, at this rate.
Yeah, well, especially the gold control is important here, as Liereyy now is getting out Imperial Camels as well, and then he has just such a nice army composition, Imperial Camels, Halberdier, Bomber Cannons. He basically has every unit
Yeah,
in the game, or he at least and every unit he needs to push out.
absolutely. He doesn't have full upgrades on the helps, but he does have Blast Furnace coming in, and that means he's going to have the extra +2 attack on his camels as well, compared to Slam, who just doesn't have the resources, or hasn't had the resources to upgrade Blast Furnace here. Slam's doing Siege Engineers right now, wanting that additional range, but he just lost another castle, and I think he lost another. I think that was his castle, yeah. And
Yeah.
Slam's now just definitely on the back foot. If Liereyy is unable to win this from this position, I would be very surprised. But let's see how Slam decides to defend this hill.
Well, he doesn't really have a lot to defend with. He does have the one bombard cannon, whereas Liereyy has 4. So, and also traps. I don't see how Slam could realistically defend this hill.
Not at all. I mean, this is the thing as well. Liereyy, I mean, don't be scared, Liereyy. Don't be shy. Send those Imperial Camels in. They can just storm up this hill and kill these elephant archers, no problem. There we go. He's going in now, and even with the uphill attack, like they're going to tear through those elephants. Wow, yeah, they're going down quick. Meanwhile, the castle is coming under such heavy fire, and I think Liereyy can even afford to throw away his camels here if it means taking out the bulk of Slam's army, and he'll do just that. I think this is GG right here, to be honest with you. If this castle goes down, I just don't see how Slam's going to defend. There it is. It's a Wallalo GG from Slam, and what an interesting game, really.
Yeah. It was, yeah, it's just so, I think it was down to the decision of Slam to make the elephant archers. That cost him a lot of resources, and he didn't do a lot with it at all.
Yeah, it's just so such a I don't want to say strange decision, but it's not something I would have expected Slam to do when he's got Liereyy, like I said, pinned inside of his corner of the map. He's got 4 trebuchets. He's taken down Lierey's only defensive castle, and he could just push in. And Liereyy is able to defend that with like a few arbalest. And then Slam's like, oh, he's making arbalest. I need to switch into something to deal with the arbalest. Oh, I'll go in, for the elephant archers. And then just immediately after having this big advantage, just fall back and give Liereyy the map control back, give him a free castle, donate that to the Liereyy fund, and then and just sit back and then defend for the next 10 minutes after you've already got them in the corner. And
yeah.
It's so interesting to me that he did that instead of maybe going for Imperial Camel and just powering on through.
Yeah, in early Imperial Age, at least when you do have Imperial Camels, they do quite nicely on their own. And the thing is, if you would have infinite gold in, for example, a team game, then Elephant Archers, if you fully upgrade them, then they really are, tanks with archers on the back. But yeah, he didn't have infinite gold, and he didn't even see his own gold, so that hurt him a lot.
Yeah, again, that's another thing. The fact that he had all that map control, but he didn't find the additional gold piles on the map. And I mean, I don't want to sound overly critical of Slam. Obviously, he's a miles better player than I am. But obviously, from our perspective, we can see that, he didn't find the gold in the north. He didn't find the gold in the south, even after he had all that map control. And it's something that he overlooked in that game that actually ended up costing him quite a lot as that gold ran dry at the end. But let's have a quick look at the stats. I do want to see the overall. I mean, if you look at this, right, Liereyy lost 185 units and only killed 126. But in the end, he had over double the military. So it doesn't really matter that he lost all those units because he was able to outmass Slam at the end, and Slam had no way to defend from that ultimately. Slam even had the bigger eco. Like, he had more stone, he had more wood, he had more food, but he just fell down on the gold in the end.
Yeah, if he would have invested earlier into trash, he might have had a chance to do a little more, but yeah, he didn't get any trash in the end.
So, and for those on the stream, Here we are. Welcome, guys. That nearly came out wrong. To Game 3 in the Slam versus Liereyy set for the All-Star League here. And we're on the home map of Slam. It's going to be Migration. And once again, I'm joined by Major Queros. I'll let you introduce the players and the civs.
All right, so starting off on the top of the map in the blue, we got Liereyy playing with the Italians. And then over to the south in the red, we got Slam playing with the Italians as well. Interesting civ choice.
Yeah,
I quite like it.
We've seen a lot of the Italians in these water maps, and we did see Tim play earlier today against Backed, and it was Migration again. Tim actually took the melee, and Backed ended up taking the Italians, and I feel like the Italians are probably the strongest water civ right now. And I just wanted to add as well, because I meant to actually say this earlier, but I totally forgot because I got distracted by other things. But it would be really nice to see future balance updates to Age of Empires HD and these civilizations. Obviously, we're going to be able to provide a huge amount of data from all of these matches, which the devs can then use to actually make adjustments and tweaks to these civs, because I think it would be nice to have more than, a handful of civs which are viable on this map, for example. Obviously, right now, Italians seem to be maybe a little bit too good on the water, similar to how the Vikings are a little bit too good in AOC. And so if they were to make some changes, I would love to see that and then see a few more options available in competitive play on these kind of maps.
Yeah, that would be really lovely to see that Vikings or Italians, that it wouldn't really matter which of the one you pick, because both of them would be strong. Because that is what I like so much about HD, is the new civs, and a lot of new tactics are being formed, and yeah, just a lot of civs being explored. And I think that can be done a lot more by players that are using Fubli a lot more, or players on HD that don't really like the civs.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Vikings are just like, they've gone from being the undisputed king of the water for the last 15 years in AOC to suddenly being like a second-rate water civ just because they don't get Fire Galley anymore. And so, well, they never had Fire Galley, but you know what I mean? Like, they don't get it now. And that's been introduced, and it's suddenly just made them a lot worse. Obviously, in a team game, I think the Vikings are obviously really valuable to have still, but just, in general, in 1v1, the Vikings are just never an obvious choice, or never a clear choice for water maps anymore, when you have something like the Italians, which are just able to take advantage of so many additional bonuses, as well as having the fire ship, which seems to be the crucial unit in the tech tree that everybody's pining for in these expansions. So what bonuses do the Italians get? We'll quickly run over them. They get 25% wood off of their fishing ships. So instead of it costing 75, it costs 50. They get half-price dock technologies, which means they save money and save resources every time they research something from the dock. And they get cheaper age-up cost as well. It's 15% cheaper to age up to the next age. And that, of course, gives them a little bit of a speed boost as well in terms of upgrading to Feudal, Castle, and Imperial, since it costs less.
Yeah, that all sounds like, stacking all that up, that makes indeed Italians a very nice civ on the water. Sounds really good.
Yeah.
Especially a fishing ship discount is so nice to get a early fish boom going, and then on top of that you got the earlier uptime. So yeah,
especially on this map, just because the rush distance is so large. Players like to do two things: the rush distance is so large, and you have no bore, and non-standard resources, so you are relying more on the fish, and those fishing ships cost less, so it's really nice. So let's actually talk about the map a little more. How's it looking in the middle for you?
Well, I don't know. I'm not watching a lot of migration maps, but it seems I don't really know. What do you think?
Well, I think that the gold is an important thing to look for, and in the last migration game we had the gold kind of split. One gold was on one side of the island, one was on the other. But this time around, both of the gold piles are together in the center here. And since this is a water map and there are no military ships on the water that don't cost gold, controlling this is going to be important in the mid to late game, which is generally going to happen on migration more often than not. So whoever's able to scout the map in the center and whoever's able to identify this area, not only is there 2 gold, but there's also 2 stone, and lock this down, they're going to have a really good time, because the rest of this center island is basically barren. There's just no valuable resources here apart from the wood. And you're going to need something else to go along with that wood if you want to actually make something of it.
Yeah, and it's also, it seems like Liereyy is a little bit closer to all these resources, with the resources being on the left side of the map. Slam would have to travel quite a lot of distance across the island to get there.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's definitely favoring Liereyy in this situation. But, you know, it's going to come down to as well who gets the scouting info first. If Slam can identify, like, if Slam can pick up a few sheep on the shore and start scouting, and then recognize that, okay, I need this part of the map and it's closer to Liereyy, then Slam's probably going to put more emphasis on trying to get that so that Liereyy can't. But if, for example, Liereyy sees it, he might also then be like, okay, well, I need to get this part of the map, so I'm going to go really quickly to the center. But if neither player gets the scouting info, then one player might actually go to the center quite late and focus heavily on the water. And if the other person is able to control this gold and lock it down, that could be a real problem for that player who commits too much to the water here.
Yeah, what might happen here is, if Slam would decide to run around with a few ships, he might catch a sheep on the shoreline and then start scouting the island with the sheep. That could already happen in Dark Age, but I think that would be more likely for Liereyy than for Slam, because I do see one sheep quite close to Lierey's dogs.
Yeah, on the left side there is one, and there's also one quite close to Slam on the narrow strip of land where it narrows out. So I mean, we'll see what happens there. But right now, let's see how they're doing in terms of resources and food. It looks like Slam's going to click up to the feudal age first, actually. He's on the way up with 42 villager, or I guess economy units. He's got 42 combined fishing ships and villagers. And that's a lot of fish right there. That's a lot of food income on the water. And I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes for like a straight up fast castle here. He's got that many fish that he will just drop down a blacksmith and a market when he gets to the castle age and feudal age, and he'll probably click straight up to castle. Meanwhile, Lierey's going up a little bit later, but he's got 47 combined economy units. So both players are quite content to just sit here and fish boom their hearts out with their 3 docks quite spread evenly around their islands.
Yeah, I guess with Italians, because you go up cheaper or faster also, it's just so nice to pull off a fast castle. And you also see both players, yeah, like you said, just getting a lot of fishing ship out. And I do wonder if this would happen with any other civ.
Yes, it depends on the map as well. I mean, sometimes you can have weird migration spawns where players actually end up being very close together, and the landmass in the center doesn't actually separate them at all, in which case rushing can work out really well. But it's not uncommon to see like 50 eco units in the Dark Age, even with other civs. In this case, though, it definitely makes so much sense to add so many more fishing ships in, since they are that much cheaper. But there's the blacksmith and the market coming up from Slam, and he's going to be clicking straight up to castle. I mean, he's already got 900 food, 200 gold. He's started fire galley production on the water as well, so he's going to have a base of units ready when he gets up to the castle age to upgrade. And I think Lierey's going to be doing the same, although I'm wrong. It looks like he did start making galleys, and then he realized, oh, I'm playing HD. I need to make fire galleys. So he cancelled them and queued out fire galleys instead.
Liereyy is getting a demo raft out instead.
Yes,
and that's a pretty interesting decision, because demo rafts do work very, very nicely versus fire galleys. So since he knows he's a little bit behind, then he can quite easily defend with just one demo raft, get a few fire galleys out, then he should be fine.
Yeah, I think maybe he's interested in sending the demo out to maybe kill some fish. I mean, fishing ships do clump up quite a lot when they're gathering. So if you can find a group of fish and explode the demo in the middle, then he could do a lot of damage. But I was wrong on that because he is actually just patrolling the demolition raft on the right side. Gonna send it out now, and there's the first fire galley from Slam. The problem is with the demolition ship, you have to kill or hit more than one galley in order for it to actually pay for itself. And right now, he's made a bad trade. So Slam's ahead, in my opinion, at this point. And he's going to send some more fires over, I feel.
Yeah, that was not ideal. It might have been better to back off a little bit and wait for the second fire galley to come in as well. But still, Liereyy is doing fine, even though the trade wasn't that good. He has a nice amount of fire galleys out of his own.
Yeah, playing a little more defensively here. As far as the Castle Age upgrade goes, Slam is going to be ahead by about 20%, and he's going to have those upgrades coming in first. And once we get to the Castle Age, I'm going to be interested to see who makes the first move towards the center, if at all. We might see players just really duking it out, really focusing on the water here. And Liereyy, I'm surprised he's not moved these fishing ships on the right side back, because these are now in a little bit of a dangerous position. He should probably send them round to the backside of his island, where the fish are much better.
Yeah, well, there you go. He is sending his fishing ships now towards the fire galleys, so they're safe right there. Just a few fishing ships taking shorefish, so yeah, little things like that do matter. But it's tough to keep track of everything, especially since it seems like both players are attacking on both sides.
Yeah,
There's quite a lot of things happening, yeah.
Slam's looped around on the left side, you're right. But Slam's getting Fire Ship a little faster here, and that's going to give him quite an advantage on both flanks. He should be able to push back on both sides, to be honest, or he should be able to push back on the left side. I think he was going back so he could regroup with the other two fires that are heading over. And I think Slam, with the Fire Galley, I don't understand why Lierey's fighting here. Fire Ship versus Fire Galley, but okay. Fire Ship being upgraded for Liereyy mid-fight. And it looks like Slam's winning on the left, whereas Liereyy is winning on the right. So both players kind of trying to fight on two fronts here. And they can't afford to let either front go, because as soon as one or two fire ships sneak through or get through, you can say goodbye to most of your fishing economy.
Yeah, true. And in all this, Chaos tried to find a moment to go to the middle. Liereyy is getting his transport ship out, so he will be looking at getting to the middle quite quickly now. Yeah. And Slam switching to war galleys.
Oh, that's cool. I think he's got to be careful. He's added some demos in, and I think he's looking to take out a few of these fire ships with a nice demo shot. In fact, here comes one on the right side now. If he can get 2 or 3 hits in, he could do pretty well, but nope, it's a pretty bad demo shot. Meanwhile, I mean, he's got fires in the front, galleys at the back, and I've always said that the best combo is to have a mix, but he has to be very careful. As soon as he loses his fire ships, the war galleys will melt, and he has to keep the fire ships alive and in front of his army. And I feel like that could be a risky play from Slam there to start adding in the galleys so soon. We have got another demo raft coming in on the right side, demo ship even. That's a much better shot, and that's going to give Slam the upper hand out on that right flank. Meanwhile, Slam's actually landed in the middle. It's quite funny because they've both landed on this tiny strip of land here, and they're actually going to meet each other very quickly in the center of the map.
Yeah, I don't. Looking at Slam, he's getting the monastery right there to maybe convert some ships, or I don't know what exactly he wants to do with the monastery right there. But if you look at Liereyy, then he was just very unlucky getting on that part of the island. Well, no, never mind. It's not even unlucky. He just, yeah, I don't know why he chose that part of the island.
Yeah, it's like the narrowest part. I mean, Slam's going to get lucky here and find a relic, which he just uncovered with his monk, so he should be able to go for that. Meanwhile, going to try and go for the conversion, because he was losing that scout fight. He'll get the... Nope. He won't get the conversion. They'll both die.
Yeah, and he lost his villagers as well to a wolf, so he will have to transport a few more over.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that wolf with one health. But yeah, there's actually two relics on this right side, and Slam knows there's one there. Now he sees the other. But he should be fine because he's got two monks. He can maybe convert the villager from Liereyy and get that a villager out there that way. But what's quite funny is that neither player has any scouting info of the center at all, really. Neither of them know where the valuable resources are. I just find it amusing that they both decided to land on like the crappiest part of the center island at the same time as well.
Yeah, well, for the good part for Liereyy right here is that he does have a dock now on the right side of the map, so he can get ships out really nice and quick to the right side of the map.
What is Slam doing with the fishing ships, though? He's just sending them in.
Misclick.
Oh, wow. That's going to hurt. I mean, there's not many fish left over there, but he should have really sent his ships down to the south of his island and built a dock out on that way. Oh, wow.
Maybe. Yeah, that might be it. Maybe he just, he didn't want to delete them all, so he just sent them there. That might be it.
No, I doubt it. It's so worth keeping them alive. But Lierey's doing the same. Lierey's like, please take my fishing ships. I see you giving me your fish for free. Now please take mine in return. No, I think they were just trying to gather the fish out here automatically because there's no other fish worth having. So both players just kind of like not paying attention to their fishing economy. And it's understandable because they are much more focused on the water. And as I say that, it's GG. Because Liereyy has ran out of boats and Slam is overpowering him out here. And I also noticed that the Imperial Age tech came in the meantime. Wasn't really... Yeah, I was kind of relying on the overlay to tell us when Imperial was going to happen. And it doesn't show up because the Italians have a different age-up mechanism, I think. So, yeah, it's suddenly over.
Yeah, I don't know. Those guys will know better than I do, but yeah, neither player did go for the middle at all. So why not try to get a little bit of control there and rebuild some economy? And I don't know, it feels quite prematurely from Liereyy.
Yeah, I mean, Liereyy doesn't seem to have the same amount of fight in him that someone like Tim has. Tim like never resigns till the last minute. But yeah, quite funny, Slam getting conversions with the monks here as well. So you were right about him getting the conversions with them. He didn't even go for the relics in the end, deeming that the conversions were more valuable. And yeah, I mean, basically Slam in the end just able to outnumber Liereyy like 2-1 on the water. And since they were both in the Imperial Age as well, that 2-1 advantage on the water is something that Slam was just able to, well, he would have been able to really just capitalize on. On the left side as well, Liereyy lost all of his ships out there, so Slam would have been able to come in from the back, finish off the fish, what's left of them, and Slam's just in a good position as a result. But villager-wise, I mean, there was nothing in it. There were 48 to 49 vills. It was just engagements, and Slam had a much better KD there, just taking better fights, and yeah, I guess the conversions definitely helped as well.
Yeah, true. But even then, Slam was still into War Galley and didn't even have the upgrades yet. No, he didn't. And Liereyy was already on Galleon, but okay, GG.
Yeah, GG, and that's going to be 2-1 to Slam. And it was pretty quick game, actually. Migration usually does last a little longer, but that's okay. I mean, that's fine by me, because you all know what's coming up next.